Jared,
I'm Greg.
and it's Wednesday at 7:30.
You're real quiet.
Better?
There you go.
Yeah, I had to turn on my mic. And today I was looking at a couple of posts. We were talking last week about the UCLA deal and got off employment, which was good.
Your audio's cutting in and out bad, brother.
Oh my God. Okay. Is that better?
Yes.
A lot better. So it's not listening. It's not picking up. Okay. I'll keep going. So we were talking about last week about UCLA and the school and all that kind of shit. And we were discussing all that, and then I started looking, and the VA police over here in LA have had an issue with homeless. Okay, the LA County is absolutely it's a damn epidemic of homeless. Mostly homeless vets, but there's like 4 to 6 thousand vets out there, and 4,000. So a quarter of the population, somewhere around. But anyways, the VA police, the Veteran Affairs has their own police force that nobody really knows. And there was a guy. He was actually a lot of different police. Actually, it was a Vietnam era guy. He fell out of a helicopter. And so the VA police, he was messed up in the head, and he's homeless in LA County. The VA police caught him on VA campus going through a dumpster, and he identified himself as a Vietnam veteran. So the VA policeman arrested him and charged him with criminal trespass and a bunch of other stuff. And they took him to jail. And now, for a VA police officer to take a veteran to jail to do that, it seems to me why, if you see him going through a dumpster and he's hungry, why don't you take him to the cafeteria, get him something to eat, or take him up to the psych ward because he had a mental health issue instead of putting him in jail. So he stayed in jail. Then when he got out, he had to pay a fine, and he had to pick up aluminum cans. I think he said for like 6 to 8 years just to pay that damn fine. Ridiculous. What that money could have been for? How about some food for him? Veterans don't need to go hungry. They don't need to be homeless, and they sure as hell don't need to be brutalized by VA police. Because I'm telling you what, this is not the first incident. I started looking into that. Just over like last year, there was over 200 incidents at the VA police with the VA police over anywhere from civil rights liberties to false imprisonment to hell. There was one. Um, he beat the hell out of a veteran for like he struck him. What was it? 24 times, over 2 dozen times with a baton. Most of these VA police that I'm looking at, they have a lot of excessive force uses, and they have a lot of excessive force uses in their background that I'm noticing from other departments. So, are they just hiring scrub ass police officers that'll come on, or what the hell is the deal? Because the veterans, should not have to be worried about going to the VA because the VA police is going to beat the hell out of them. This is ridiculous. But there was one of them. Where was it? He was 24 months for. He was. Oh, he was sentenced. Civil rights violation and making false entries in the report. First one. These guys, I mean, horror stories of VA police misconduct. I mean, it's in the Congress. It's even in .gov, so you know it's there. These are all the reports.
So how do we fix that?
How do you fix that? Fuck, we need VA police. I understand, having a security force on there, but I don't know about the actual.
Lost your audio.
I don't know an actual police force. Maybe a security force, but not a police force. They shouldn't have the power to arrest me.
Well, even security officers have the power to arrest you.
Well,
Just
they
depends.
detain you until then.
Well, to a point, yeah. But I'm saying, what's the best? Let's talk about ways to fix it. Okay. Yes, we need to figure out why we need the police force versus the security force for the VA. My answer there is because, well, let's just be honest. You're working there doing security for a bunch of people who've been trained, and many of whom have been put into situations where they react violently to things. Not saying they have a propensity to be violent, but it's just in the background. So how do you fix it? Well, most police departments in Texas, they don't even have a baton anymore. Like
No.
they don't have a baton. They either use spray or taser or JPX. I personally like the JPX. But how do we fix it? Well, if a veteran is already registered with the VA and got their VA card, right? Why would they not be able to get on a meal plan if they're homeless? Why can we not set up a meal plan? Give them something to eat so they're not eating out of the trash cans.
That's too
Right.
much like right, bro.
Huh?
That's too much like right.
I mean, if you ain't got nothing else, give them some MREs. At least they can eat.
Yeah. This they don't care.
Well, and they
They're
kind of,
they're gonna feed the migrants, but they're not gonna feed us. They're not gonna feed the guys that were over there serving. And we've been on a lot of political issues lately. I've tried to stay off of it because we got called out on it. I really don't give a fuck, but it was another admin, and he's a page admin. He's not actually.
but let's just get on what we're talking about today. How do we fix it?
How do
Right?
you fix it? One, they're going to have to remove batons. Two,
Well,
they're going to have a new SOP in order. They
yes.
need to have a new standards of procedures, a new protocol, whatever the hell your unit, your whatever calls it, your
Yeah.
call it SOP. So instead of something like that, if they see that, be like, "Hey man, you hungry? All right, hey, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna put you in the back of the car, no cuffs. We're gonna take you around to the front over there. They have even sack lunches or some kind of the little styrofoam meals when we deployed.
Dude.
Or when we went somewhere, remember?
Yeah.
Like when you at TDY, have them. It was a sandwich and stuff like that. Give them one of those, and then get them some mental health. The guy had mental health issues, and I understand that he's probably by the VA because he can get his help there. But at the same time, you know, get him somewhere where he can get some food and somewhere where they need to have like a
Well,
baby
I mean,
clinic or something where they can do some kind of hygiene.
why not have a plan like, for instance, the reserve side of the house for the military, like out where I was at in Sigleville. The family readiness lady out there that was in charge of all the family readiness, she started a food pantry right there. So like when times got tough and people didn't have a job, but they were reserved, they could come in on their drill weekend and get a box of canned goods and dry goods and take it home. You know,
True.
uh, we start food pantries for everybody else in America. Why don't they have a food pantry at the VA? You see somebody eating out of the garbage, you're a VA cop down there or a VA worker. Hey man, you ain't got to eat out of the garbage. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Just wait here. Go in there, get them I don't know, a loaf of bread and a jar of peanut butter, whatever you got, right? Something they can eat that they ain't got to cook. Because, what are they going to cook it on? You know,
I
and resource centers like the big one here in Dallas. I think they do a pretty good job, that VA center down there by the VA hospital. I think they do a pretty good job. The only problem is they're not funded to have somebody there at night. Like, the prime example, when it got cold and I tried to take all them coats down there, I went there 3 nights in a row and I don't get off work till 6 o'clock. And I would go from Rockwall all the way to downtown Dallas and knock on the door, and the VA police would answer from over at the main campus and tell me there wasn't nobody there to take it. And I'd say, it's cold outside. We got vets that are cold. Can I drop these coats off at y'all's station and y'all carry them around? And, if you see a vet that's cold, reach in your trunk, get a coat, throw him a coat. No, we don't do that. Hell, Dallas PD gives out teddy bears. You telling me the VA PD can't give out a coat
no.
or a how simple is that, dude? Just tell every officer at the VA, if they're at a static position or if they're in a car, give them a box of freaking protein bars. Hey,
Yeah.
if you see a hungry vet digging in the trash, give them a protein bar. Give them a bottle of water.
Well, I mean, the military spent when I was over there, we had to win the fucking hearts and minds of all these people that were trying to blow our asses up. These motherfuckers. These bureaucrats up there. That's all this shit is now. Is you don't go to war to win a war anymore. You go to war to win their hearts and minds. The only way to win their hearts and minds is to splatter the motherfuckers across the battlefield. Because they're never going to see the way you see, because they've been fighting for shit 20,000 years before we ever got here. Okay, the same people. So, really and truly, they used to send us over teddy bears and candy and stuff like that to give all the people and the kids. You telling me you gonna give all them something, but you ain't gonna hand a motherfucking veteran a goddamn $3 sandwich or a $25 peanut butter and jelly? That is so sad. It's not like y'all and these guys coming back. They're the ones that's that's really messed up. They're the ones that's paying for it. Because they've done paid for it, and now it's like America's just turned their back on it. And it's pretty sad. I, I've told my I've told my doctor several times my depression the way it is and the way I've got lately. It's just been horrible. I even told her, I was like, sometimes I just look back and I'm ashamed to be a goddamn American these days. It's just the it's not even American. It's just the shit you've done for your country. And then all of a sudden, all this other stuff comes out that there was no WMDs and none of this and none of that. And now you're like, then why the fuck did my brother lose his life? And why did my buddy lose his life? Why did my buddy, you know, why did we go through and endure all that hell that you put us through so you can make a little extra fucking money? And it's all wrong. And the way I see it is probably wrong too. But I mean, I believe in defending my country, but the way it comes to a point that you're not really defending your country. You're defending a politician's status is what you're doing, or money. You're
Well,
defending money. You're not. You're the gold. oil, whatever the hell lithium, whatever the fuck they want to go for this year.
I think part of the issue is that people see, most people see veterans as people who serve, but people who are able to just keep going, get a job, do whatever. We've all learned to do whatever we have to do and whatever we have to do it. And the problem is the ones that can't do that are the ones that really need the help. And the ones that can't do that can't really speak for themselves. You know what I mean? Like the guy that was digging in the trash, he's not right mentally, so he can't really speak for himself. And it's, as with many things that you and I talk about, I don't think it's just a VA thing or a government thing. It's a societal thing. People look at people who've been in the military and they go, well, they can put up with anything. They can do whatever they need to do and they'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? That's what they see.
Well, it's one of those things. They only support the troops. Paul just said, "Fuck it's Wednesday." He's supposed to get on. He forgot. They only support the troops when there's a war. It's after the war they don't support the veterans. And the thing is it's like, well, these guys coming back, their mindsets all messed up. They've got PTSD, they've got this. Yes, but they also have leadership skills. They have patience. They have tolerance. They have, professionalism, communication skills out the wazoo. But they don't care about all that. It's and the job market. Nowadays I can go down. I told my wife. I told her I was like, I'm so tired of sitting in the house. I was like, I'm finally just, you know what? I said, fuck it. I'm planning, as long as it's not raining, the 23rd or whatever, the 21st or whatever that weekend. I'm probably gonna jump on my bike and I'm leaving the state. Just ride. Just go up to Oklahoma. Might even make it to wherever. Get on and just go north as far as I can go. I might even stay in a little hotel somewhere on the side of the road, just one of those little roach coaches, for motorcycles right there. And I can see it. They'll have one on the first floor. I'll roll my motorcycle. Don't think they'll let me do that though. Motel 6. But just play and ride. I mean, I just can't do this. I want to work this out. I can't. Can't just sit here and worry about this, that, and the other. Get, get into a lot of, the job market's out there right now. It's just finding what I want to do, and looked at a couple LLC and other stuff, but with everything I've got going on, I think I'm just going to go ahead and not worry about LLC right now. I think I'm just going to
Well, this is
build
where
my stuff, because I mean I've got a good credit score. I really get LLC. I wanted to build a business.
this issue we're talking about tonight.
Oh.
Like we were talking the other day, and I said, part of the problem is you got to give them a purpose, right? These homeless vets, these guys that can't cope well with coming back. That's because they don't have a purpose. They don't feel like they have a purpose, right? And that's what I was getting to the other day. Make a place for them where they can stay for a while, but give them a purpose. Put them to work. Like, even if it's just like, hey, make a squad out of them and be like, okay, your squad is responsible to pick up all the trash in this 5 square blocks of downtown every day. That's what you do every day. For, you come back here you eat breakfast here, you come back here for lunch, come back here for dinner and sleep and shower. But your day is spent picking up this trash. So you give them a purpose, and that does 2 things. And I'm not just saying picking up trash. I'm just using that as an example. It does 2 things. It gives them a purpose, right? And then it gives society a reason to see them as valuable. Because most people in society don't see homeless people, whether they be veterans or not, as valuable people, right? But you look at what those people bring to, you're moving. Okay. You look at what those people can bring to society. right? So you give them a purpose. Let's say that's as good as they get from now on. They pick up trash in that 5 square blocks every day for the rest of their life. They're content there, and we figure out a way for them to live. But what advantages would those people bring to society? Right? They going to clean up that 5 square blocks. B, it gives them a purpose and a place and a thing to do. And B, C, what's one of the most valuable things to police officers on the street? People that know your community. That's built-in street level intelligence. Right?
I would think so. I mean,
so, then we start
very good.
building on these people's skills and getting them a purpose and a work ethic back that they're used to. And then it makes it easier for them to try to What the hell was that?
His screen door.
You
Put
just
the
drilled
fucking hole on it, bro.
a hole in my soul, man. But the way to fix this is to yes, revamp certain things, but we have to think about it in a different way. You have to look at what makes people tick and what makes most veterans tick. The same thing that made them tick when they were in the military. They had a purpose, they had a structure, they had a place to be, a time to be there. They had to wear the funny green suit, get up, wear green, go to bed. Right? So to me, this is just my humble, semi-educated opinion, is, we've got all these programs out there for the vets that want to go out and look for jobs and so on and so forth. But from my personal experience in life, when you get down, it seems like the world keeps kicking you. Now, I ain't ever been at that bottom where I was homeless. I've been pretty low a couple of times in life, but I ain't never been homeless. And I've only been without a job once or twice in my life, but that's just me, because I'll do whatever I got to do, sack groceries, whatever. But some people who've been through some other things that maybe I haven't been through, it takes a whole different outlook on how to get them back to reality. And that's what I was saying the other day is, you look at people that joined during a war or that were drafted during a war, like the Vietnam era guys and the World War II and Korea guys who, Vietnam era guys, a lot of those guys didn't even get to go to their senior prom. They snatched them out of high school. And they grew up in war. That's all they knew. They knew that military structure. They knew that rank structure. They knew this side wants to kill me and this side doesn't. And that's what they knew. And then all of a sudden, you expect those guys to just walk back into society and be normal.
Well, that was a whole that's a whole nother
I know.
Because back in the 70s,
yeah, they had other issues going on, but
they had a lot of drugs. They were getting spit on. They were getting.
But my point is, with the homeless guys, with the guys and not just guys, with the guys and girls that didn't come back and adjust well, even in the most recent war, you've got to first figure out why they're not adjusting well, right? Then you've got to give them that purpose. They've got to have a purpose. If you don't give somebody a purpose, it's just, you got to have a purpose. If your only purpose in life is to get up in the morning and make money so you can feed your cat, you're going to get up and do it. But if nobody's giving you a structure and you only know how to live with a structure, prime example, look at people in jails and prisons. Why do we have recidivism? Most of the time, recidivism is because those people only know how to live in jail.
Yeah, they're institutionalized.
They've never had a real job. Most of them ain't never had a real family, and they go to jail, and they get institutionalized, just like the military. Like I said, get up early, wear green, go to bed when they tell you, 3 meals a day. Do PT Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever they do, and so then all of a sudden they don't have any of that, and they come back and they don't have a job, or the jobs they do find, the jobs they do find won't pay their bills, so they give up. And so that's what I'm saying. Come up with some way, a program or whatever you want to call it, to create accountability, right? You create a squad of homeless people. You pick one homeless guy that can be the leader, and you say, okay, you're accountable for these 5-10 people. They don't have to live with you. We just need to know where they are, where you think they are when they're supposed to be there, and what you think they're supposed to be doing. And y'all need to communicate with each other. It's just like an NCO checking on their troops, right? So you got to give them a purpose. And that's part of the problem is it doesn't matter if they're mentally ill or not. If you're treating their mental illness the best you can, then you got to create structure in their day. So, we've got all kinds of programs which are great for, veterans to go and get away and have adventures and hunting trips and biking trips and canoeing trips and all that. And I think those are wonderful for the people that need it and are eligible for it. I think it's a wonderful thing. I have no problem with it at all. I think it's fantastic. We have job programs for the veterans that are out there looking for jobs. I think it's fantastic. But we've got that one little pocket of people that we haven't managed to figure out how to help. And those are the ones that are getting, beat up at the VA or winding up in jail because they're homeless and they're out of their head because, why are they out of their head? Well, here in Texas, if you're homeless and you've been outside for 5 or 6 days in the middle of summer, you probably going to be a little crazy.
Yeah, you done got baked a little bit.
Yeah, you done got your brain cooked like an apple pie,
Well,
and you're trying to
cook in other ways.
Yeah, that too.
Well, most of them they come back and if they got PTSD and stuff, they self medicate to get burned up. They over medicate, and I've had some friends do that have actually passed away that self medicated. I was in Korea with. So,
it's like your microphone's moving away from your face or something.
Yeah, I'm not moving. It's just moving up and down. I don't understand why it's waving like that.
I don't know.
The soundboard's cool. I mean, I got all kinds of shit on it. We just never did it. Oh, I don't even know why I got that. But, no, I mean, self medication, especially after Vietnam, with what them guys went through and what they saw. They come back, and that was a big deal. I mean, no, look at Lieutenant Diane. Lieutenant Dan, I'm glad that. Hey, Paul.
Sorry, man. I'm on the go and signal sucks on my FM road.
But, anyways, we were. Whatever we were talking about.
Your train just took a dirt road, didn't it?
Yeah, that motherfucker ended. All it was gone. Remember
Damn it, boy. I'm sorry.
No, it was
friends?
Jared's train took a dirt road.
Yeah, we were talking about 70s and drug abuse and stuff like that during the Vietnam era, and them guys coming back with what all they went through, going through that kind of shit. But, I mean, they just got burned up. Not even just their psychological was not there, and then they either used too much drugs or we're outside and alone all the time. That'll make you have some kind of mental psychosis. Being alone, what is that? Over 36 hours, I think it is. No human contact, something like that. 30 days. It's supposed to be really bad.
Well, I'll tell you a little story about people and how they deal with things, right? So y'all know I worked for the VA for a while up in Montana for a few months, and we had this volunteer that worked at our clinic, and he was a World War II vet, former airborne guy from World War II, and we were talking about when he came home and how he dealt with stress and everything, and he said he came home and he really wanted to do something less stressful with his life, but he wanted to do something that kept him busy, but it was less stressful. And he found the perfect job, and he worked there till they made him retire. He became a smoke jumper for the Forest Service because that was less stressful than his previous job.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to jump into a fire instead of getting shot at when I'm getting jumped. I mean, yeah, okay. Yeah, at least you know what you're getting into on the ground down. If you're jumping into a hot zone, you don't know if you're going to get hit coming down or you're going to get. Hell, if the plane ain't going to make it by the time you get to where you're supposed to be at the jump zone.
But that example stuck in my head of people needing a purpose, right? And that guy told me, he said, if I hadn't have found that job, I don't know where I would be, because he said that's what I needed. And people need a purpose. Look at the programs they have for people in prison where they raise service dogs or they work with horses, right? And it changes their life. I mean, what can you, the three of us, anybody that's listening, do? I mean, I don't have any money. I don't have any resources, I mean, I work every day. I got a job and I sort of pay my bills on time, occasionally. But what can we do to move forward with trying to find the resources to give people a purpose? Like, whatever it is. I mean, I don't know. What is it that we could take people, homeless vets off the street, and give them to do that would give them a place to live, give them decent food to eat, and give them some structure in their life?
Well, there needs to be a county or a federal mandate setup or a federal setup where it's like a work program, like they have at the damn jail, like a work program. You went through when you were working at the prison. You went through the work or the jail. You went through the work program, didn't you?
I got put a PT vest on them now since they're out. It's no longer a belt. Have them go pick up trash on side of the road.
That's what we were talking about. But you got to have. See, there's a place up there. Where was it? Wisconsin that you sent me, Greg? They were taking that. What was it? A high school or something? They were taking and they were pissed off about it.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I read so many stories the last few days and had everything
in
going
Fort
on.
Worth. There's one in Fort Worth. It's here in Texas, and the neighborhood's getting pissed off. But if you could take something, this is an old church, and they're going to make a veterans housing out of it. And I looked down there by Lancaster in that area. There was a set of apartments. I was looking at doing something similar. What you could do is get the county and city to fund this. Now they don't have to pay them a lot,
right?
If they, cut the taxes or whatever for the property because it's a 501c or whatever the fuck it is. However, they want to reimburse the people doing this shit.
Mm-hmm.
But buy the property, get these guys out there working for the city, the community, the state, county, whatever, to get that money coming in to the house, these houses, to support the guys, and then all the extra they get.
Well, I mean,
they
to start the program. Let's
have their hourly stuff that they have.
Well, there's already a program in place. if you want to be technical about it, I worked for TxDOT for, I'd say, a good 4 years and change just after I got out. I had a buddy get me in up there, and I was one of the budget cuts, but they have programs already set up for state highways, interstates, everywhere. All the people have to do is sign up their entity, whatever, on it, and that little section, they'll put up the signs for them, everything.
Mm-hmm.
All
Well,
it would take is just a little bit more wording on the program in play. The state doesn't get the money, it goes to veterans, disabled veterans instead. You're set up.
Right. That's what we were talking about, though, is the like the homeless veterans, or most of them are homeless because they didn't readjust well, right, for whatever reason. And those are the people you got to build them back up. And
Oh,
that's what I
absolutely.
was saying. That's what I was saying. Like, if you're going to start a program, model it almost after a cadet program. So the first people that go through, you're going to use them in the future to run the program, and you're going to build off of that base. Just like the military, they built off the base, right? The first people that did it taught the next people, and the next people learned more, and they taught the next people. And so if you're going to have them living in one spot, you're going to have them working together, then you're going to have the different programs come in. Give them, the how to get a job class. Give them the, hey, here's a computer. We're going to sit you down and show you how to build up some job skills, how to write a resume. Because these people didn't adjust well. So for whatever reason, they're homeless. They got no structure. They feel like they have no purpose.
Now,
Because I think that's the one thing everybody loses when they walk out the door of the military, is they wake up the next morning and be like, man, I don't really have a purpose no more, right? Or I don't have as much of a purpose as I felt like I had before.
well, they were lost.
Huh?
They were lost. They were
Yeah.
lost. When they got out of the military, they were lost because they didn't know. They had the uncertainty. Nobody likes the uncertainty,
Right.
which is basically the job, where I'm going to live,
Well, and
family, where my money's coming from, and everything else like that should have been set up out beforehand, and everything, and make sure that was good, and you got a place to go. But
well, and that
can't.
goes even over into what you and I've talked about before, where I'd like to do something in the community to have veterans pair up with kids that are talking about going in the military. Don't let them just listen to the recruiters. Let's help them form a plan and an exit plan. Because the number one thing,
The recruiter's going to hate our asses.
no,
That's
still
why
gonna-
I died laughing.
you're still gonna help them make that decision that they've already made. But I mean, I've been asked to talk to kids before, like at my church and stuff, that were going in the military, and I'd sit down with them and be like, "Look, man, if you're going in the military, or girl, whatever, if you're going in the military, what are you wanting to do when you get in there? Why are you wanting to do that, right? And then what are you going to do when you get out? Because it doesn't matter if you stay 4 years or 24 years. At some point, you're not going to be wearing that uniform anymore. You're not going to have that job. You're not going to have that first and the 15th check. You're not going to have free medical and dental. You're not going to have a place to live, just because you're there. So what's your plan when you get out? Because, especially young boys, they want to do all the, as the Army says, hoo-ha stuff, right? They want to jump out of airplanes and blow things up. But, not
Worth
a lot.
it.
Huh?
Worth it. Just saying.
I know, but there's not a lot of civilian crossover when you go out looking for a job.
That's where I'm at,
Same way with medics.
to be honest.
Military medics as veterans are the most underemployed group of veterans on the planet.
Come out as an EMTB with skills over some skills over a damn paramedic and nurses. Like we were taught how to do a Venus cut down in the field. Well, shit, there's people that can't do that in a civilian job, in a clinic. But I mean, we were doing it in fields. I mean, that's what you had to do to get a line in, to get fluids at the time. That's what you had to do. But no, they are very underemployed, and even going to school and stuff like I did.
Well, and even when people go in the military, I mean, when you first go in the military, most of the time they don't tell you what all the follow-on schools are. Like, oh, you're going to go in as a medic. Oh, well, did you know you could go to Mike 6 school or November 9 school, or you could go to PA school if you work real hard, and they don't tell them that.
I wanted to be an X-ray tech with nuclear medicine, and they told me I had to be a medic.
But
Good job, career counselor.
But my point being, got to have both ends of that scale. But for the homeless vets, we got to figure, the VA's job is to figure out why they're homeless, what's going on in there that's making them homeless, right? Or in here, whichever, that's making them homeless. And then the rest of everybody else has got to figure out some sort of way to create structure and purpose for them so that they become what they always were, which was valuable, contributing members of society. Because I don't care who most people are, veterans or not, most people, if they've lost their sense of self-worth and they regain it, they use it. But if they never regain it, they just keep getting further and further down the rabbit hole. Am I crazy, or
no?
Am I semi-logical?
I'll be completely honest, and this is probably not going to be productive towards your point. I've lost my sense of purpose a long time ago. The only reason I go to work every day is to get away from my wife and kids. Truth.
I mean, I go to work because I have to, man. I don't want to go to work no more. Shit, I'm 55 years old.
I'll fucking retire so we can hang out and ride fucking Harley. That's what I wish. All right.
Dude, I'm just trying to strike it rich. That's my goal. And then half of that money,
you'll be sitting there.
Half of my wealth, I'm using to mess with people. Tuesdays, I'll pay a whole town to throw a sandwich at somebody all day. I don't care.
Better for like taking those sandwiches and feeding all the homeless.
I'm sorry. I'm getting us off task. Anyway,
you're not hurting anybody.
But anyway, yeah. I mean, y'all need to hurry up and retire.
Hey, I gotta.
You're already looking. I know. I
gotta find me some little something that I feel like riding around on. Get used to riding around again and get my license. You know which one I like. I like that Pan American.
That CF Moto that you sent me.
That was nice.
And that's only like $6,000, and I think you can find them used for like 3 or 4 if that. So you should be all right.
Yeah.
Brian's fixing to get his as soon as we can get his battery. We have a couple people looking at his truck. Do you know that his 05 Explorer only has 130,000 miles on it?
No.
130,000.
Well, the boy don't go nowhere.
No, and well, we bought it from a boy too. So I mean, it had like 80 something. We bought it.
Yeah, but he don't go nowhere.
5 years. So he put less than 10,000 miles on it.
Yeah, it's not like he has a big dating life or anything.
Unless there's a new video game where he has to go to GameStop, he's not leaving the house anymore. But that's pretty much it. Because I save more money doing that than not really, because I see you buy like 20 games in a paycheck. But that's when he got it, and he had to rebuy shit.
I hate to do it, y'all, but I'm walking in church to pick up my kid now.
Well, you have fun. It's 45 minutes.
All right. We'll see y'all soon. Have a good one. Later.
Right,
But anyway,
yeah, it's 45. We've been
okay.
tired. You're tired. You're over there yawning. I really didn't feel like doing it today, but it's one of those days. I mean,
Well,
like,
hopefully
shit.
we
When I
got.
worked yesterday, dude, you got to see my backyard.
Why did it grow from the rain?
No, I fucking I have. I busted up that old furniture, burned it, cut down a bunch of trees, cut down a bunch of brush, raked, mowed, cleaned up the rose beds. I mean, and then I did the front yard the day before. So I've worked my ass off like 3 days. And my neighbor, she had a lot of stuff going on, so I helped her weed eat, mow, clean, and um. So I'm just like, awesome.
Yeah,
I think that's why today I'm just like, I really don't want to do this.
dude, it's been crazy at work. We're just getting busier and busier.
Yeah, but
I had like 29 phone calls today, which doesn't sound like a lot, but with 29 phone calls, my total talk time was like 4 hours and 50 something minutes.
yeah, I've been through that.
Huh?
I don't like talking to people like that because I tell them, did you turn it on? Yes. Is the red light on? No. Did you check the breaker? No. Oh, the breaker's tripped, red light's on. Well, you a fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
Why did you wait on the phone for 45 minutes to figure out it was your fault and waste my time?
I know.
And I
Well,
couldn't deal with the technicians that you do because if he told me he's been doing it 30 years and you told him it was this wire that you told him, and he said, I didn't check that because it never goes out, and it's out, you're like, well, this is
yeah,
not
you know.
a product either. Hell up. That capacitor that's out was made in Pakistan in 1973.
So, I'd like to get together maybe on this weekend or something, or next weekend, I don't know, for a couple hours with a notepad and a pen and talk over some ideas and who we think we should talk to about, like this kind of program I'm talking about.
I still got contacts with the VFW
I mean, dude,
and
you know,
501c3s that we can talk to about getting into.
well, I mean, like Dallas County has the boys farm where they send the orphan boys out and they teach them how to work on a farm and all that. And sometimes that kind of work is therapeutic for people, especially people that are homeless that probably are used to being outside, right?
People like me that have grown up on a fucking farm, and I like
Yeah.
rent. So
I mean, I grew up part of my life on a farm and it wasn't bad, I miss it sometimes, but then I start working in the yard and I don't miss it so much.
sure don't miss picking them damn peas all day long in the summer.
Or picking okra.
Picking okra or peas.
Yeah.
But I never got to pick the okra because I'm so short. I
Fuck
couldn't
that
reach
okra.
the fucking stop. And Dad's okra was like fucking 8 inches long. He let that shit till he got to like the hardy wood, and I've been like, he's like, I got too much.
Dude, that okra's like picking porcupines. But anyway, brother, we better get off of here. Hopefully we got some good content today.
I just been doing it live.
If you get to feeling down, man, call me, message me something. I mean, I may not be able to talk a lot, but I can at least, text you back and tell you to fuck off.
Well, I was looking for when you text me that photo. I was looking for like because there ain't no reason to get a new one if you're going to get a used one. Then you're going to want a Pan American in a few years when you can afford it. When you're getting used to it. So, but we'll talk about that offline.
Yeah, man.
Off here. I'm going to go to bed. I'll holler at y'all later.
All right, brother. Bye.